Imagine a world where Rome never fell, but merely traded its iron breastplate for the gold and silk of the East. Byzantium, a 1,000-year dream, frozen in marble and light between Europe and Asia. The year is 330 AD. Emperor Constantine the Great moves the capital to the quiet harbor of the Bosphorus. Thus was born the new Rome, a city that for an entire millennium would be the eye of the universe. While old Rome drowned in chaos and the ashes of barbarian raids, the East began its legendary ascent. In 395 AD, the empire finally divided, leaving Byzantium the sole right to eternity. The 6th century. Justinian I ascends the throne, a man determined to restore Rome to its former glory. His golden age was written with the steel of his legions and the wisdom of great jurists. Justinian codified Roman law. His code became the foundation upon which the modern legal world stands. But he sought true greatness, not in laws, but in the heavens, the Hagia Sophia. The architects told the emperor, "This dome is held by a golden chain let down from heaven." Gazing at the radiance of his temple, Justinian famously exclaimed, "Solomon, I have surpassed thee!" Life in Constantinople was a complex machine where opulence lived alongside iron order. Stone-paved streets smelled of incense and exotic spices. At the Hippodrome, the heart of public life passions flared as fiercely as on any battlefield. Fans of the blue and green factions decided the fates of ministers and even emperors. It was a city of intellectuals, where even simple bakers might argue the nuances of theology or Platonic philosophy. Byzantium preserved the libraries of antiquity, while Europe forgot how to read. While Western kings signed their names with a cross, Byzantine princesses read the Iliad in the original Greek and corresponded with the greatest sages of the age. The Byzantine court was not merely a political hub, it was a gargantuan theatrical stage for the divine liturgy of power. The emperor, the Basileus, was seen as God's vicegerent, a living icon upon the earth. His public appearances were accompanied by chants that remained unchanged for centuries, and his robes were so heavy with gold and pearls that he could scarcely move without the aid of servants. Yet this ceremony served a higher purpose. In a world of chaos, Constantinople had to appear as the unshakable reflection of the heavenly Jerusalem. Diplomacy itself was a form of bedazzlement. Foreign ambassadors were received in halls where walls were adorned with pure gold mosaics, and floors were carpeted with Persian silks. The empire spent fortunes on these receptions so that a potential enemy would leave convinced that warring against the city of gods was utter madness. To enter Constantinople was to step into a living jewelry box, a city where every corner was designed to reflect divine light. The main artery of the city, the Messe, or Middle Way, was lined with massive marble porticos that sheltered citizens from the sun and rain. Here, one could see the true diversity of the Roman world. Scholars in silken robes discussing law, monks with sun-scorched faces, and blonde-haired Varangian guards with massive axes, sworn to protect the emperor's life. The city was a forest of monuments, where ancient Egyptian obelisks stood alongside statues of Roman heroes, all gilded to glow in the golden hour of the Bosphorus. Even the humble homes of the city partook in this aesthetic obsession. Public fountains, fed by the massive underground cisterns that looked like drowned cathedrals, provided fresh water to a population that valued hygiene and art above all else. This was a society of deep contrasts, where the most brutal political blinding could happen in the morning, followed by a refined evening of poetry reading or choral music. It was this tension between the sacred and the profane, between the ancient past and the Christian present, that gave Byzantium its unique, shimmering soul. Byzantium was not only a city of temples, but the world's greatest marketplace. Caravans carrying silk, frankincense, and spices from every corner of the known world converged here. The empire's currency, the gold numisma, was the dollar of the Middle Ages. The Byzantines called themselves Romans, though they spoke the language of Homer and Plato. Orthodoxy was the core of this civilization. Faith permeated every stone and every thought. Icons were windows to another world, filled with mystical light and silence. But in the year 1054, this world split in two. The Great Schism forever divided Christians into the Catholics of the West and the Orthodox of the East. Byzantium chose the path of preserving the ancient canon. To distant Rus, she became a dazzling lighthouse. Prince Vladimir sent envoys who, upon their return, said, "We knew not whether we were in heaven or on earth." In 988, Rus accepted baptism, becoming the spiritual daughter of the empire. Along with Byzantine masters came Cyrillic letters and the grandeur of mosaics. The princesses of Constantinople became the wives of Russian princes, binding the two lands in ties of blood. Yet behind this veil of sanctity lay a world of treachery and poison. Byzantine politics was the art of intrigue, where the throne was often washed in the blood of conspirators. Blinding enemies and forced tonsure into monasteries were commonplace. In the halls of the Great Palace stood mechanical lions that roared as ambassadors approached, and thrones that rose smoothly to the ceiling to instill sacred dread. Still, the empire knew how to defend itself. Its greatest secret was Greek fire. This mysterious mixture incinerated enemy fleets directly on the water, unextinguished even by the waves. And the walls of Constantinople themselves, the triple ring of the Theodosian Walls, were the most sophisticated fortifications in history. For 1,000 years, they repelled Huns, Arabs, Persians, and Vikings. Byzantium was the shield of Europe, until one day, that shield was pierced by those who called themselves brothers in faith. In the 12th century, the blow came from where it was least expected. The Fourth Crusade turned into the bloody looting of the City of Cities. Western knights carried off treasures accumulated over centuries, leaving only ruins behind. The empire rose from the ashes, but its former power was forever broken. But the true treasure of Byzantium was kept not in chests, but in the minds of its scholars. While the ruins of Western Rome forgot Latin, the University of Constantinople continued to teach Euclid, Ptolemy, and Aristotle. Byzantine scribes performed the greatest feat in cultural history. They preserved 90% of all ancient Greek literature that has survived to this day. Without these humble monks and clerks, the world would never have known Sophocles or Thucydides. Byzantium was a massive bridge across which the wisdom of antiquity passed into the hands of the Renaissance. In the 15th century, the Palaiologos dynasty attempted the impossible. This was a time when art and philosophy reached unprecedented heights amidst general decline. But on the horizon, Sultan Mehmed II brought giant cannons to the walls. The walls of Theodosius shuddered. On the 29th of May, 1453, the city fell. Constantine XI died in the heat of battle as a simple soldier. The golden ghost of Rome finally departed the Bosphorus. Hagia Sophia became a mosque, and Constantinople became Istanbul. But Byzantium did not disappear. It made a great migration into the mind. Refugees brought Greek manuscripts to Europe, igniting the Renaissance. In the north, Moscow took up the baton of orthodoxy as the Third Rome. The Byzantine double-headed eagle spread its wings over the vast reaches of Rus. Byzantium dissolved into our architecture, our laws, and the very structure of our thought. It was an Atlas civilization, holding the entire heritage of the ancient world on its shoulders. Its light is the light of a dead star that still warms our cold nights. Byzantium, majestic, humble, and absolutely immortal.